Hi everybody, it's Andrew here from Hobbies Australia and welcome to this week's edition of Show Us Your Kit. So what we're going to have a talk about today is an inbound shipment of Zvezda, and then also another shipment we've got coming in a couple of weeks' time, which is going to feature a kit that's going to be of very great interest to local modelers. So the shipment that's just about to land has been very eagerly anticipated, and we'll get some images up here shortly, but we've got a couple of really good standout kits in this shipment. The first one is the Russian Arctic 1/350 scale nuclear icebreaker. This kit just looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm really keen to get my hands on one of these once they arrive. The other kit, 1/72 scale Hawker Hurricane. Now Zvezda haven't really done a Hurricane before. In their smaller 1/100 scale, their 1/200 scale, yes they have, but not in the traditional 1/72 scale. So again, something that we're very interested in getting my hands on and having a look at this. Retailing for $18 odd. It really should, by all the pictures I've seen, all the reviews, etc., should tick an awful lot of boxes. Now, in late December, and when I say late December, I mean the last couple of days of December, we'll be receiving an extra shipment from Zvezda. And in that shipment will be the brand new C-130J-30 aircraft that we have been eagerly waiting for a little while. Now this kit has been obviously manufactured by the team at Zvezda. They've done the decals in-house, and this kit will also have in it decal markings or options for number 37 Squadron Royal Australian Air Force, based at RAAF Richmond. But more importantly, it will also have the centenary of Air Force tail markings. So we're going to jump straight into this preview kit here and have a look. So let's get into it. So in January of this year, we received from Zvezda their C-130H, their kit ZV7321. Now this was the H model Hercules. Locally we had decals manufactured for it for number 37 Squadron. And we also worked with Scott Taylor at SMS Paints, and we had a very unique paint set produced for this model. Now, the response from the local market for this aircraft was absolutely phenomenal. It caught everybody overseas on the hop. The team at Zvezda could not believe the demand that we were able to create for this kit in the Australian market, to such an extent that they came to us and said, look, we're doing the J model. How about we do RAAF markings for you out of the box? And we thought, that's great, that's fantastic. It's the centenary of Air Force, second oldest Air Force in the world. What a great way to launch this kit. So, C-130H, there it is there. And if we have a look, and hopefully you can see in this image, we'll actually see the box underneath it is the C-130J. So you can see the J straight off, larger box, because it's a larger model. What we've got there in the J is roughly about 7 centimeters longer than the H model in the completed model, and it's about 20 extra parts in there. So 314 pieces in the H model, 334 in the J. So when you consider it's a larger aircraft, it sort of makes sense that obviously the box, etc., is going to be bigger. Now, let's see if we can do this without causing too much chaos. So here's the box. Very robust, nice box art as we've expected from Zvezda. Just flip this over. We can see there on the back some information, completed kit done in an RAAF scheme with the refueling boom, the scale, the part, the length of the model, etc., etc. Everything that we've come to expect from Zvezda. Good, sturdy packaging, really nicely done. If we were to look on the sides and the ends of the box, and I won't do that because I'll probably put the camera into a conniption, but it's everything we would expect from Zvezda. We've got paint call-outs in their own house brand, as well as Tamiya. There are representations of the kit on either end, and there's also pictures of other aircraft in this scale that are available through the people at Zvezda. So we open up the box of this kit, and what do we find? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of sprues. We've got instructions and decals. We'll put those to one side. We'll have a look at those in a moment. I guess the first thing that stands out is obviously the fuselage half. There it is there. Okay, that looks the goods. And what we'll do, just to give you an idea of the difference, there is the H model, the starboard half of the fuselage, alongside it. So as you can see, we've got that extra length, which is what we would expect with a J model. There are a number of new sprues in here and some sprues that have been rehashed. The G and E sprues have been changed, and we'll have a look at those. G and E, there's 2 sprues there, and what we've got is the propellers, so 6-bladed props, different spinner, etc., etc. We've got 2 of those sprues. We have the G sprue, and we can see the modified or changed engine nacelles, 4 of, because to accommodate the larger engines that are on the J model. And then what we have here is the addition of sprue K, and sprue K has some additional bits and pieces for the cargo hold. There's a refueling boom there, a few other bits and pieces. So realistically, we've seen a lot of the kit is just a rehash of 7321, the H model. We've got those rejigged and new sprues, which look really quite nice. And as we would expect from a brand new moulding, there's nothing in the way of flash. Seam lines are really crisp and clean, rivet detail. Look, we spoke a lot about the H model when it first came out, and it really did tick a lot of boxes. The J model is just the natural progression on from there. So rather than go through all the sprues which we've already visited in our previous review of 7321, let's have a look now at some of the paperwork, the decals, etc., that are included in the new C-130J-30. So what we have is the traditional A4 instruction format. What we've got here is 12 pages, and the construction is drawn out over 46 steps, and then we have additional information regarding decal placement and obviously paint schemes. So sprue layout, we start in the cockpit, flight deck crew, additional flight deck detail, we then move into the cargo hold, etc., etc. Now, like the H model, nothing really steps out as being very, very onerous with the construction of this kit. Should be fairly straightforward. Just because of the size of it though, you just want to take your time, measure twice, cut once, and you'll get a very, very nice rendition of this aircraft straight out of the box. Where we start to see some changes is when we get towards the latter stages. We can see here weighted wheels, which we saw in the H model, but also here the different propellers, 6-bladed props on the J model versus the 4-bladed props on the H. A little bit different there, but again, all fairly straightforward, and away we go from there. We then have the technical details on the back for marking specifications, and then what we're also provided with is a colour A4 sheet which folds out, and this has all the marking options. Now in this kit there are 5 different marking options. First is the United States Air Force. We then have the Royal Australian Air Force with the Centenary of Air Force tail. We have an RAAF version, we have a French airframe, and then we finish over on the back with an Italian airframe. So 5 marking options included in the box. Very nicely done. So let's have a look at the decals. So the first sheet of decals that we'll have a look at is this particular sheet, which shows the wing walk markings. We've seen these done in different ways. Zvezda choose to do them as a very large single decal. Other decal manufacturers will actually just produce them as straight lines and leave those up to the modeler to get the spacings right. I guess it's a matter of personal preference. This is what's supplied in the box. So again, we're going to get a nice credible result out of this. We've got the markings for the Australian version for 37 Squadron. We've got Royal Australian Air Force, that's great. But we can also see there for the United States Air Force, for the Italian Air Force. Lots of detail. Doesn't seem to be much in the way of excess carrier film. The colours seem to be in register. They look good. They should go down very, very well over a gloss coat, and possibly with a setting solution, you'll get a very, very good result. Second sheet, we have all the various national markings. We have high-vis markings for the sides of the airframe. We actually also have the propeller tip marks, which is a nice little touch. We have the flight deck control panel, cockpit surface detail, which looks good, and we have the various wing and access and door access points shown there as well. So, you know, there's a very, very comprehensive sheet. Looks good. Again, colour register seems to be right. Not too much excess carrier film. There's going to be lots of options out there in regards to aftermarket sets. So you've got a very, very good offering within the box, but you might like to look at other options that will also be available either very soon, if they're not already available. Now, the third sheet that's included in the kit shows we've got the black and white markings, stripe markings for the American Air Force options. We've got additional propeller blade tips here, white. On the other sheet we saw yellow ones. We've got various serial numbers for representations depending on which model that you're building. But I guess for a local context, what we have here is the Centenary of Air Force tail flash. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Australian kangaroo roundels. When this kit was first announced and Zvezda said to us, look, we're going to produce the decals for you if you'd like that. And we said, great, that's fantastic. We finally got a set of decals sent over for us to look at. And when I was checking them out, the first thing that popped out was that, wow, all the kangaroos are facing the wrong way. Or, sorry, not all facing the wrong way, but they're all facing the one way. So we very, very quickly had to get in touch with the guys at Zvezda and say, look, we need to get that changed. They said, great, yep, no worries. And then went ahead with the production. What we didn't realise, and it wasn't until I sat down about 48 hours later and had a good chance to go over the decals, was that there were only 4 RAAF roundels included. Now, the Australian Air Force is a little bit unique. We have 6 roundels on our aircraft. We have 2 on the underside of the wings, 2 on the top side, 1 on each side of the fuselage. And we're one of the few air forces that do that. When we got in touch with the guys at Zvezda and said, hey, guess what? Their comment was, look, unfortunately, the decals are already at the printers. We can't do anything in this run. So what we did with one of the local decal manufacturers, and this will be included in the kits supplied by Hobbies Australia, is that we've had additional roundels produced, and they will be put into each kit at our warehouse before those kits are dispatched out to retail customers. So rest assured, if you've purchased this kit through Hobbies Australia or through a retailer who's purchased it from Hobbies Australia, you will have the correct number of decals supplied, which is all very good, very important. Bit of a steep learning curve there for the guys at Zvezda and ourselves, but look, we've got on top of that. There won't be any issues when that kit gets out. So realistically, when you're worried about, when you're thinking about that decal issue, what you need to do is look for that Australian marking sticker that we put on our boxes. That means our guys at the warehouse have gone through this box and they've got the right decals in there for you. So for peace of mind, look for that sticker. If the sticker's on the box, you know you're on a winner. Okay, so that's Zvezda 7324, the new C-130J-30, coming soon to a retail store and an online retailer near you in the next couple of weeks. We'll land this stock, as I said, at the very end of December. With all the public holidays that we're going to experience at the end of December, New Year, I would think that this stock, or this kit, should be available in stores and online by around about the middle to the latter half of January 2022, which is roughly 12 months after we brought the C-130H to the Australian market. Retail price on this kit is going to be $89.99, which is the same pricing as the H, so that's very, very good. And it's going to be a kit that's going to generate a lot of excitement. I know a lot of people have been very eagerly waiting this. I know there has also been some comments on social media about the decals. We've tried to do everything we can to fix it. Is it the perfect C-130J-30? As I've said before, probably not. But for 98.5% of the modelling community out there, this kit will tick an awful lot of boxes and people will be very, very happy and pleased with the result straight from the box. I know there are aftermarket guys already working on improvements and upgrades. I know Edward, for example, have already announced all the photo etch for it, and we'll be getting that early in the new year as well here at Hobbies Australia. But for the most part, the C-130J-30 from Zvezda, their kit ZV7432, coming soon to a retail store near you. Now, in the meantime, hopefully we'll catch up with you again before Christmas. But as always, stay safe, take care, I'm Andrew from Hobbies Australia. Thank you very, very much for your time. And of course, let's build more kits.